Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have this delay. For some reason, it's always a connection issue, but I hope you can hear me great. I have a special guest here today. I was able to speak with Miss Courtney a little bit even before. And let me see, something's happening on the Facebook side. So I'm gonna make sure you guys can see us here. Having trouble streaming. This may be an issue on Facebook. Yeah.
I
So if
see
you're
it.
in this space, yeah. So we have to. I'm gonna go ahead and correct that. So while I'm
Yeah,
speaking
I
and
see it on
correcting
my end.
yeah. This destination issue. So you do see the live, right?
I see it on LinkedIn and I see it on my personal page. I don't know about the event page. Let me try to find that really quick.
Yeah, I think that's where it's not streaming right now. So I'll renew it and I'll get you guys, just into this conversation in a moment to make sure all the technicalities are right because we know it's us against the AI at this point. Um, I want to just welcome y'all into this warm space and just talk about, just artistry, creativity, and just the freedom to do. After really getting to know more about you, Courtney, and understanding, what you do and how you do it, it just kind of, triggered how many of us as women in our businesses are just very creative at heart. And it's really where we start our business from, that place of, hey, like, we just want to do this and freely live our lives doing it for the rest of our lives, and why not make money while we do it? And I think I want to hear more about your story. I want to hear more about why you even started this as a business, why this was important to you. And so let's just start with you. Tell us who you are and what you do.
So, hi everyone. I'm Courtney Averett. I am a graphic designer and founder of Averett Design from Parlin, New Jersey, also known as Sayreville. And I specialize in quality graphics and quality printing. And I do a lot of flyers, business cards, brochures, posters, even personal pieces, like personalized cups, and I can show you later, and labels for like products. So I love doing that. I've been doing that for several years now, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm also part of the WIN community, the Women Into Networking community, which is it is a okay. So it's a huge community, but found out about the New Jersey one, and it's one of the first networking events that I got involved with, and I realized that as a designer or just as a woman in business, you need support. You need a great network. You need you need people that are going to help you out, and you want people to help too. And teamwork is such a big deal. So I joined because I remembered what it was like to be in other networks, a few years prior. So I was like, I need that back in my life. So I got involved with the Women into Networking community, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I know that one of our events that you came to was one of your first networking events. Very, very proud to see that, y'all. And see, this is why I feel like it's really important to have safe spaces because, to your point, you really, you kind of hinted towards it, like really making a choice of where you feel aligned, where you feel valued. Tell me where this all started from. Like, have you always had a love for art, creativity? Like, where did this come from you? Where we know you do graphic designs. We heard y'all. Listen, all the business owners out there, y'all heard her say merchandise, right? So you have no excuse. She even has the Win T-shirt on. Shout out to Win. Okay, shout out to Courtney just wearing the merch.
I got my
Thank you
cup
for
too. I got
that.
my mug too.
Oh, you got a mug too.
I
Look
came
at you.
prepared. I came prepared. You know me.
Courtney is
And it's
heavily
hot in here. I
invested
need
in
some
our
cold water.
mission. Heavily invested in the mission. So where did this idea for you kind of came from before you even found us and showed us your greatness? Where did it start for you?
So when it comes to the creativity, that started, I'd like to think it started before I was born, when I was in spirit form. But okay, so it started during when I was a little like a baby, maybe, or like infant, maybe around 4 years old. And I remember my father teaching me how to draw. And he was teaching me how to draw stick figures. And I remember that day. I remember where we were sitting in the living room, and I remember him showing me. And drawing and art, it runs on both sides of my family, both my mother and my father's side. They both have it very strong. On my father's side, he's a he actually is a self-taught. Oh no, my father's father, so my grandfather, he's a self-taught artist, and he was also a graphic designer in his time. And so I had a lot of different mentors, and a lot of whether it was family or through teachers. I even self-taught myself. So I really just stuck with it, and it was in a way comforting. It was something that helped me cope with a lot of things that a lot of children go through, a lot of teens go through. It was like my safe space, and I just remember just being so immersed in it, and I loved seeing how much better I would get each year. So I was like, I kept challenging myself and challenging myself. And I was also introduced to computers at a very young age. So I was already using advanced design programs that I didn't even know they were at the time. I just used it because my father gave it to me. But once it was time for me to go to college, I was already familiar with some of the programs because I grew up using them. So it was really interesting how I was kind of naturally ahead of my classmates. But it worked in my favor. But I keep the art alive. It really is something that nourishes and feeds my soul. It shows up in many different ways, not just drawings and not just graphic design, but even with decorating. As you can see, I have a vibrant room with this vibrant green and the pink curtains, and all the ornaments here. And I even when it comes to my fashion sense, where I carry myself with my big '80s hair, or like some people like to call Donna Summers, I know. And the So I do it all. The art, and even in my own mind, I mean, the way I think is like it's so creative, so much that I have to be careful, just getting a little bit too much in my head. So it's really important that I take all of that creativity and pour it into creating work. And that's part of why I'm where I am today. It's helped me get through a lot of different parts of my life, and really happy to say that I'm still sticking with it after so many years.
I'm learning so much about you. I'm just like, what? Yes, Donna Summers, absolutely. I didn't think about it before, but that's definitely giving Donna Summers. And I mean, yeah, you're definitely giving the look, and I also appreciate the fact that you're laying out, who you are in so many different facets, right? Like, I love the first of all, your energy around colors and schemes and things like that. Like, I think that we see that greatness, and sometimes, like you said, you do have to be very cautious on how you distribute that greatness, right? And not just for yourself, but for other people too, because I've seen a lot of, like, I'm creative, but I ain't that creative, y'all. Like, I'm good, but I ain't that good. And that's why it's really important to have people like Courtney on your team. Because while she dreams away about all the creative things that, you can have in your company, and all the great merchandise and tools, and using her brain to do that, you're taking care of the business. And I think that speaks a lot of volumes as to how we can partner too, because I'm just not that creative. Do you find that, Courtney, that you run across a lot of people that you seem to have to partner with because of that, or is this something that you find in the market? I'm just asking because I'm not that creative. Do you find in the market that you're finding other people like you that are just very creative, looking for the business partner? What are you finding more of?
So you asked me if a lot of the people that I run into who want to work with me are often lack creativity. Is that what you're asking? Like, they're looking for someone to fill in that creative gap?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So
Or are you
no.
running into people who are actually creative like you, and you're
Uh-huh.
just looking more for people who need your creativity, is really what the full question was.
Oh, okay. So are you asking me if that's what I'm looking for, or if that's what I naturally, if that's what naturally is drawn to me? Like,
What's
what
what
I
you're
want
naturally being drawn to, or even just
to.
seeing
Okay,
in the moment?
okay. It's a little bit of both. Um, it helps if someone already has a little bit of creativity, because when two creative people get together, you can make some magic. Some really interesting projects emerged just from somebody giving me an idea, and then I take it and I put it into print, or I amplify it even more. And it may not even exactly be visual creativity. Sometimes people are creative when it comes to designing, how do you say, like hair products. I worked with someone who works with hair products, and she comes up with hair products, and she already had an idea of how she wanted her products to look, and so I helped bring that to life. And then there's also people who may not exactly have a creative edge, and they want me to take over and be the director. So that can work too, because then like that's like, okay, that's even more of I mean, they're both a challenge, but it's like it's even more of a challenge because now it's like more of a blank canvas, and I really have to work those creative muscles. But I've come up with some really fascinating things in the process. And the cool thing with that is when they don't really know what they want and they're leaving it up to me, it leaves more room for uh, trying some really cool designs, which I can show you in a moment. I have a business card here that I'm actually thinking of that I designed recently. So I'm loving these comments in the chat. Keep them coming. I appreciate, and thank you all so much for coming. It means so much to me. I'm glad you all made it.
Yeah, you got support, girl. They're all out here. And honestly, I think that and that's I love what Greg said. I would love to echo print her. I don't even know what that means. What's eco print?
Oh,
Like
because
what
his
is that?
business is called Echo Print. So, and I think he
Oh,
uses I forgot the word, but he's talking about his
eco
business,
paper.
and he does the printing side of things. So yes, I'd love to work with you. Let's do it.
Yes. See, connections. I love that. And while you're telling your story, Courtney, and the reason why I asked that is because I'm really curious about these things. Like I don't just ask these things because, and this is why I don't script anything, because ideally for me it's just always something that comes to mind while you're speaking, and I'm like, I wonder how that works, right? And so I think it's so important to kind of value what you just said, that there are, and I heard you get excited when you were like, when two creative people come together, it's like magic. So can you kind of like walk me through that, like before we get to like the business side for you personally? Like what does that feel, and what what comes out of that for you that you can really appreciate? Because I'm creative, but I've seen a lot of women in our community that have, I mean, y'all are like bomb. Like, I mean, shout out to the fact that your brains work that way. But I'm just like, there's no way I could have thought of that. There's no way I could have, put that together myself. And so what really gets you motivated? What really makes you feel like you're in your best creative self?
Hmm. I'll say some good music to start. You got a nice playlist going on. I also like to DJ too, so I get that from my dad's side. So you got to have some good music on the side, and some good scents, whether it's a candle or some incense. I also like to set up the environment, where it's very visually appealing, and then I just get into my zone, and I I look at things that maybe inspires me. Maybe I've seen something that has really inspired me, and then I might want to take it and remix it. Or sometimes I'll just put, so if somebody gives me their logo, I might just put it on the canvas, and they say, okay, design me a business card, and I'll just work with it. I'll just start making different shapes until something comes up that looks like, yeah, this is it. Like I might take different parts of their branding, and I'll put them together so that it until and I'll mess with the text until it becomes something that's visually appealing. And it's like it's a feeling you get. I guess maybe that's from seeing so many different business cards and flyers and all these different designs over the years. So over time, you start to recognize like what's quality design, what isn't, and maybe from going to school and learning that way, and also just being self-taught, I can recognize like, okay, what's working and what's not working. And so yeah, a bit of combination of that, like a blank canvas, and then maybe looking at some inspiration. Sometimes I just love looking at how certain elements are printed. Like one of my favorites is the shiny foil print that I'll show you soon. And that alone is like, okay, what can I design so that we can really make that pop? And so sometimes it's what's actually, it's the printing material that could inspire me. I hope that answered the question.
It did, and I feel like you kind of create this ambiance for yourself to make sure that you can really work well and that your mind and your environment is clear and speaking to you. I think it's really good to have your spirit filled. Like I know you mentioned that earlier. Like I've been doing this since spirit, but you know, if it's in you, if it's in your spirit, then you want to kind of not allow your body to take over that process of genius, right? Like I can just imagine you being in an element and just well, listen, like what you just said about putting the shapes together and imagine, I have no clue what that is like. But I will say that it reminds me of just passion. It reminds me of romance. It reminds me of this, you know, this ignited fire of like, oh, I really love doing this and just going through that process of doing it until it's done. You know, that's what we talk about. Do what you love and make money from it, right? Like that's exactly what you're doing, Courtney. Like you literally is like a guilty pleasure. Like, oh, I just sat there and was really creative for a few hours and charged $1,000. I really also like the fact that you have this foil concept where I think, you know, sometimes we don't play enough with designs and we don't think enough outside of the box to even know, like, we don't even know what's out there. And so, you know, your work speaks for itself. And I know we're going to show her work in a moment. And I just think that Nella said, yes, the scented candles. Um, there's so much support for you here in this chat, which shows a lot about how you support other people. And I do want to ask though, because I did ask from a side of goodness, right? Like what makes you feel really good and gooey inside? What doesn't make you feel good? Like what is this situation or a environment or circumstance that does not speak to you the best way that you totally avoid because you want to stay in your greatness?
Maybe environments that aren't really about empowerment. Um, Maybe if it's very cold, that might not be the direction I want to go in. I like environments or working with people that are about like, let's go, queen. You know, we got this. You know, good energy, positive energy. You know, and it sometimes it's not always that. Sometimes people are a bit more neutral, but as long as there's a bit of warmth there, that's more of my vibe. And I would say that, or you know, maybe if there's too much stimulation happening, like because I like to be in my own space. So if I'm working somewhere and maybe there's a lot of noise, like construction and like some smells that you know, or just a lot of things going on that's very distracting, that's probably not an environment I want to work in. So yeah, it's important that I have my own space, and it's important that it's a empowering type of space, and if at the very least just friendly and warm.
I really love that because I think that sometimes identifying what you don't want allows you to really look more for what you do. And being in that element, I love that for you. So I just wanted to quickly go there because y'all, good and bad is always, you know, lows and highs, right? Learning opportunities. I want to also say too for you, Courtney, can you tell us what like you look at when it comes to the future, right? Like, what are some of your goals? Because we talk about business a lot, you know, as women, we're just like we hold the torch to everything, y'all. If we do think about it, if we're not good, nobody's good. But I think like if you look at your future and where you are now, what do you see? Like, what kind of goals do you have set in place for yourself personally that you really, really think, you know, oh, I would really like to accomplish that, and that's a true desire for you?
Hmm, that's a good question. Uh, Definitely some some solid clients where I'm getting consistent design work. Not exactly any gaps, maybe to the point, well, not maybe, wait, let's speak it into existence. My goal, okay, so I'm going to talk as if I'm experiencing, okay, because we gotta work that magic. I have clients, and so many clients to the point where I am constantly in demand. People are looking for me to be their designer. They want not only my work, but they want my energy. They want my essence. They enjoy my presence, and they want that to be part of their brand in some way. They see my designs, and they are like, this is what I want for my business too. How do we make this happen? I will pay you $5,000 to make it happen. And okay, we can probably go even higher than that, but you get the idea. Maybe to the point where I'm traveling and doing different designs for people all over, and it's not just in the state of New Jersey. I mean, I am actually doing remote work all over the world, but maybe some clients fly me out because they love my work that much. And oh, I forgot this one thing. My clothing and accessories and my home decorations with my designs on it, while they are not up at the moment, I would love to get to the point where that's in demand as well, where my marketing is on point. Just really quality marketing where I'm reaching the right audience constantly, to the point where the right audience is looking for me. They know exactly where to find me. And they want my designs. They want to wear my designs. They want to have it on their mugs, their bags, their leggings. And one of my favorite industries that I've always wanted to make designs for is a particular type of music industry, and an underground music industry, it's a type of electronic music called drum and bass. I would love to make designs for drum and bass music, particularly liquid drum and bass. Anyone who knows me well knows what I'm talking about. But it doesn't just have to be that. I mean, even designs where it's something uplifting that makes you feel good. So that's something that I would like to bring back with proper marketing, and I see that working out for me tremendously in the future. And that's all I can think of right now. I'm sure there's so much more. I can probably go on and on, but also, there's one more thing. I've always wanted to do a custom vinyl design on my car with some of my, I don't have it right next to me, but some of you know that I do mandala designs. I've always wanted to do a custom mandala design on a really nice vehicle. So that's definitely something I see happening for me in the future. Thank you so much. I see your comment, Nayla.
Just wow. Just wow. So I love it because I'm dreaming with you, right? Like I'm out here like, okay, I can see that. And I can see all of that for you, Courtney. I mean, like the way that you're manifesting it too. Because I'm sure there's people probably gonna listen to this live, and this live is not going away. Like all this stuff stays here, right? So it's like, who knows who chimes in is like, I was just thinking about wrapping my car. So I also want to ask you too, from a personal perspective, because sometimes we're so about our business. And once we get into our business, I feel like, because it is, the beginning stages of business, it's very heavy, y'all. Like you do have to dedicate lots of time into the development of it before it gets to the point where you really kind of like it a lot. Like, it's like the baby, like, you love your baby, but your baby get on your nerves. Like, it's like you're always changing diapers and feeding it and all this, but you do have to do these things until they grow up and you become a proud mama. And I think for you, when you talk about it from a business perspective, I love that. But let's talk about it from a personal side too, because I want to hear like from you as Courtney too, like, what are some of your personal goals?
Personal goals. Let's see. What are some of my personal goals?
Do you want to travel the world?
That's one. Love to finally have somewhere to live with my boyfriend, and also um, have the right community of friends. Um, I mean, I have friends now, but I'm talking about an improvement in that area. Um, there's something about having that group of friends, or it doesn't have to be a whole lot. They say you can count your quality friends on one hand, but just there's just something about having that support, especially if it's in person. And I know I have friends all over the world, but it would be wonderful if I had that environment of connection. And another personal goal is having my own dance studio. I've always wanted that. Once I have my own home, I am going to have a dance studio built within it, so I can just flow whenever I feel like it. And that's another one of my creative um, practices I like to do. Um, and improving my uh, self improvement in multiple areas when it comes to um, showing up, um, communication, and supporting others, supporting myself, supporting my family, and self confidence. That's always a work in progress for all of us. And yeah, I think that's to name a few. And okay, yeah, that's a few I have for now.
Those are some good ones. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Courtney. I mean, honestly, these interviews really do help us get to know not just more about your business, but more about the woman behind that brand. We're people. And so just to know that side of you, we all do align with that. I feel like I align so much with that. Like, I don't have a lot of friends. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I have any friends, to be honest with y'all. Like, to be very transparent, friends are very hard to find because these are individuals that you can depend on no matter what. Sometimes I can't depend on myself, so let alone trust somebody else, right? But I think that what you say is real true, to have people that are in alignment with your goals, your lifestyle, how you think, how you feel, right? It's really important to have that type of support around you, because if people can't like understand you or kind of like be there to support when you're going through a rough time, but you can't spread that joy, you can't spread that with your business clients, you can't talk to your Facebook audience about your trouble. And I think that's why a lot of people definitely end up spewing out all of their stuff on social media, because it really is difficult when you don't have the right support. So I agree with you, and I'm right there with you. I love that goal. I think that is a goal we all should strive for. And shout out to the people who are in your corner, because you clearly have lots of support. And I can always tell by the data. I'm always looking at the data. You have lots of support, which, like I said before, it shows a lot about how you support others. I see Nella, thank you for coming through. She said she's proud of you. Vika, Renee in the house, giving lots and lots of hearts. Wow. Alex said, damn right. He said, that's my girl. And and I love the relationship here. So because Alex is here, shout out to Alex. I think I was able to meet Alex in our initial session when I was talking to you about some designs that I wanted. And I think it's really important to have a support system. So it's really good to see that with you, right? Because in business, it can be a little stressful when you are a woman in business. You need people to support, and don't let your relationship not be the thing to support it. So, shout out, because this is amazing when you have people in our corner as men who support the women in our community. So our mission is for you too. So thank you, Alex, for all you do. I've seen you show up for Courtney in so many ways. Courtney, I would love to also, kind of one last area before we go down this route of business, because I do want you to show them your amazing work. So stay tuned, y'all. Invite your friends, because she's about to show us this beautiful design that she has for us. But when it comes down to, community, because you mentioned it before, when it comes down to authenticity and all the ways, that you have seen yourself grow, right? What kind of things that you would tell someone that's in your situation, say personally, they're really not out there, they're really not networking a lot, and they're kind of hesitant about that, because maybe there's some things that they don't have ready yet. Maybe there's some, some I don't know, some nervousness that they have. What would you say to them that you've learned that you would give back as advice?
So I would say that I know exactly what that feels like. I, for years, did not network. I only started networking last year, even though people have told me for years that that's one of the best ways to put myself out there as a graphic designer. I understand the feeling of being nervous or hesitant, especially when you're just getting started and maybe you don't exactly have that support, or maybe you think you don't have that support, but you'd be surprised. One thing that's helped me was I just started, maybe just sharing my work. I mean, I've always been sharing my work, but just really reaching out to people and getting a sense of oh, sorry, that didn't come out the way that I wanted it to come out. So one thing that helped rip off the band-aid was I started networking online, and that started with the Clubhouse app. And you didn't have to see anybody face to face. It was all voice chat. And at least, if you're someone who suffers from anxiety or you just don't feel comfortable being seen, like that's not a bad place to start. And then that's how I found out about Women Into Networking. And then I found out that they had a local event. So I was like, all right, let me go. I already know like at least one person there. Actually, I don't think I knew anyone before I went to the in-person one. I only knew Allegra, but she was in another state at the time. And so I just said, you know what, let me go. I've been making all this really interesting designs and I want people to see it. I'm ready to level up. And sometimes you have to do it scared. I remember saying that phrase to myself a lot last year. Sometimes you have to do it scared, even if you're shaking, even if you're really uncomfortable, if you're worried people are going to judge you, or if if you're worried about anything, sometimes you just have to do it scared. It's like ripping off a band-aid, but it's also like building a muscle. It's going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning. I there were a couple of times when there was like an awkward silence, or I didn't know what to say to people, but I just got through it, um, and ask people about themselves, ask them about their business, ask how you can help them. And because people like to talk about themselves, we all know that people like to talk about themselves. So just ask them something about themselves. Maybe don't even have it be about business. Talk about something that you might have in common, and then circle back to the business. And it helps when these networking events are at like maybe restaurants, because then you have a little bit of food to distract you, and then everybody goes like, oh, the food's good. And so there's not like this everyone just sitting at the table and like it's all like awkward, and like at least there's food there so you can be a little distracted by the good food. So that and and then you exchanged your info, and then maybe what one woman that I know has always suggested, her name is Melissa Alves. Excuse me if I don't pronounce her, I'm mispronouncing your name. She said it's always great to schedule one-on-ones. Don't leave a networking event without scheduling a one-on-one. This is an area I need to improve in, I admit. But if you feel like you're really connected with someone, or you feel like you're really drawn to someone for whatever reason, just be like, hey, you want to meet up at Panera sometime next week, and then just do it and see what happens. And I always keep a binder of business cards. Every time anyone gives me a business card, I keep them all in my binder, because that's great once it comes time for referrals, or even if you're not doing business with that person, save their info anyway, because there might be somebody else who might benefit from their business, and that can go a long way. I've referred other people's businesses to other people, and people have referred them to me, and it really goes a long way. So that's another way you maybe put yourself in a position of how I can help. So and then just keep networking. And you don't have to do it every single week. It's going to get to the point, if you keep networking, you're going to keep meeting a lot of people uh, who um who know a lot of different events, and you're going to get invited to a lot of events over time. You don't have to go to every single event. Don't burn yourself out. Maybe do one or two events a month. Just, and then just slowly build it up, and see where that takes you. And you'll start to see the pieces start falling together. I hope that answers your question.
I'm sure it answered a lot of people's questions. That was very transparent and honest. I definitely, y'all listen, like, I feel like networking is a tool that you have to constantly build, like, just like you said. It's not even like you get to a point where you built the muscle and you're just like strong forever. Like, if you, like, even if you stop for a little while, you still got to go back to the drawing board and like rebuild, right? Like, you're going back into the weight room. So I appreciate you giving that analysis and giving that comparison, because at the same time, sometimes I think people are fearful about just getting out there and doing it. And you said it yourself, just do it scared. Thank you for the tips as well, because that whole 101 following up right at the net, like that right there, I'm going to take that and run with it. I swear somebody told me that probably a long time ago. I just never did it like I needed to. So thank you for repeating it. And having a book. I wonder how many people still have business card books. I still have business card books where, like, to your point, I think it's amazing to be able to.
Regarding the book, sorry to interrupt. I want to give a shout out to Sarah Curcio. I hope I'm saying her last name right. She was the one who inspired me to keep the binder of business cards. And I saw that and I was like, that is a great way to stay organized. So I've been doing the same thing ever since. I'll show you what it looks like really quick.
Sarah will keep you all
something like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yes. See, and do you know how, and that's inspiring, Courtney, because that right there, do you know how clean and organized that is? It's just like different when it's in your binder book, right? And Courtney just gave y'all examples. So if y'all just need Courtney as a resource to just say, girl, listen, I want to be in your space to get all that energy, you can pay her for that too. I just feel like at the end of the day, we take a load off of our minds when we get rid of the clutter. And business cards, when I used to stack them things on my desk or throw them in a bag somewhere after my networking event, let me tell you something, it was overwhelming because it still is in the back of your mind that you did something and you didn't complete it. So I love that you showed us that, because it's the power of networking and learning how to network effectively. Now let's get into the business. Courtney, tell us about your business, and if you want, and this is the highlight, y'all. Like, she's going to show us, a little bit more. And Courtney, when let me know if I can pull this up on the screen and when, because there's another screen that we're going to show you. But Courtney, tell us a little bit about your projects and like what you have going on right now that people can get involved in.
Sure. So my company is called Averett Design, and I specialize in a lot of digital and print graphics. So, whether it comes to, if you need flyers, business cards, if you already have a business card but you're looking to revamp and an upgrade, I can help you with that. I can do brochures. I can do custom like this. I didn't do this one, but I can do that. And custom mugs. This is like custom promotional pieces. If you need custom pens, bags, if you want to promote your own business and you want to customize flair to that, I can help you with that. And everything I do is quality printing. So I also am open to working with other printers like I believe Greg had mentioned earlier, and I also work with another printer. And we work together and we make sure your products are coming out in the best quality possible, and we make sure it's delivered straight to you. So, and the thing with my business is I make sure it's done right. There have been many times where I've seen other people's flyers and other people's business cards, but maybe the text is a little blurry, or maybe you can barely read it. Maybe it's too small. Maybe something's a little bit cut off. I've seen really gorgeous designs, but half of it's cut off. And I'm like, how do they miss that? Sometimes people don't know their margins and bleed marks. They get confused, so they might need an expert to help point them in the right direction, or they might need an expert to just do the whole thing for them. That's where I come in. I make sure that you're in good hands and your designs are done properly, and it's printed properly, and it's printed and delivered to you on time. And I get the job done. You know, you ask me for something, I follow through on it, and you'll see my testimonials. You see everybody in the chat. I'm that girl that'll get your work done. And so my company's called Averett Design. This is my logo. And I also have a website that hopefully will be showing soon. And I'm the founder and the CEO of that. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but I am the founder and the CEO. And I love calling it that because my grandfather on my dad's side, he was a graphic designer back in the day. He did it the old school way. I don't even think he used computers. So I love just carrying that legacy and calling it Averett Design. And it always reminds me of my grandfather, but also just my whole family, because all of us in the Averett family, I don't think any of us can't draw. I think all of us can draw. So, I mean, it might be different styles, but we all got that artistic flair. And if it ain't drawn, it shows up somewhere else. So, I'm very proud that I have this company. I actually just started calling it Averett Design in the last year or so, and I was like, I'm keeping that. So, so that's about my company. And then I have some different products here that I would like to show you. Well, more some print collateral that I'd love to show you all. Are we ready to see that, Allegra?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay. You're a little frozen. So if you were nodding, it was like it didn't look like you just looked like you were frozen. So I'm like, is she nodding? Is she did it freeze? Like, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you is my foil business cards. So I'm all about the glam. And as you can see, it's got that shine to it. This is another one so this is the one that I did for my business. And you can see just a very clean look here, and then flip it over. I'm going to hide my phone number here. And then you can see a little bit more information on the other side. Very simple, to the point. That's more of a luxury kind of look, because I love, the whole luxury kind of branding type of style, because I notice I'm going more in the direction of luxury. So I figured, that was something I always wanted. For years I wanted it, and thankfully my printing friend hooked me up with that. So, okay. And then another one I did recently for Miss Ernice in our group, in our WIN community. Actually, I met Miss. This is one of the great reasons why it's great to be part of a networking community, any kind of business community, because you have people supporting and believing in you. And Miss Ernice invested in me. So this is the business card that I made for her, and she also got the foil done. I also have a video I'm going to show you really quick, because you'll be able to see it a little bit better in the video. I'm going to see if it's going to let me play it right now. Let's see. This thing is acting real funny. Oh, video file. Okay, I'm going to try something else. Just a moment. Bear with me here, because it's acting a little silly. So I'm going to hit present, share screen, and where's that window? Oh, I never opened it. Whoopsie. Okay, I'll open that in a second, and I'll get back to that. So I'm just going to bring up the video of the business card that I did for Secret Miracles. And okay, I have it open now. So just a moment here. I'm going to get that open in a bit. So let me hit present, share screen, try that again. Here we go. Okay, can we all see that? I'm going to expand that a bit. We can see that, Allegra? This window right here?
I can't. No. Let me add it to the stage. Hold on.
Oh, you have to do that first? Let me know.
No, I shouldn't have to, but it was down there, so I figured I would. Maybe it's coming from another. Are you using a different device? Maybe.
No, it's all coming from the same device that I just accidentally closed. Okay. Well, it looks like I can see it on your
It's
end,
weird.
so I think it is playing. I think it is playing. Maybe it doesn't show for you, but it shows for me. But I can see it playing. So okay, so yeah, that's an example of a business card that I made for Miss or Niece. And I love doing that foil look. So if you're looking to do something a bit more glam or luxurious, that is a look that I like to do. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It can make it can, you can put any kind of logo on it. I mean, well, not any kind. I mean, if your logo's too busy, it might not work too well. But you know, if you got a reasonably good sized logo, it can take you. It's like it can make just about anything look super fancy. Like like I said, like sometimes all it takes is a little bit of quality printing, and it just really enhances the overall aesthetic. So that's one I've done. And then another favorite of mine that I've done is, okay, great. Thanks for confirming that you saw it. Is I designed shampoo and conditioner labels for a hair product, which is here. And so this actually reads Ujana by Jules. So the logo actually goes this way, but I actually took it and flipped it this way and gave it more of like just like because she wanted it to feel sexy and like luxurious and somewhat close and almost earthly. So that's why I kept that green in it. So we that's the design that I came up with. And you know, can't show you the ingredients here. I got to cover that, but you know, and that's okay. You can't really see that too well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you more things on my website because then you'll see a bit more quality photos. But I didn't want you to not see what the physical stuff that I had here. Last one I want to show you here. Oh, two more things. So Dr. Jackie, who's in the audience, I recently did her business cards, and this is her business card. And you know, if I can give a before and after of how this looked, I would love to show you that. I don't have that available at the moment, but I really took it and just gave it this whole new clean vibe, which I wanted it to reflect from her website because her website's very clean, very elegant. And I was like, I want to keep that going. So that's something that I did for Dr. Jackie. I love the way these came out, and they feel great because these are linen cards. So linen cards have a very almost like a fabric texture to it. So she specifically asked for that, and it's actually on the way being shipped to her right now. She probably should have gotten it like recently. So really happy with how those came out. They're just absolutely stunning, and I'm really happy that I got to work with her. She's a wonderful woman to work with. And lastly, here before we check out my website, is thank you so much, sweetheart. Is my Skyline Tower folder. So this is for luxury apartments in this New Brunswick, the city of New Brunswick in New Jersey, which is actually the same town that I went to Rutgers in, where I went to university. So I did this project for Skyline Tower, and they have these luxury apartments, and they wanted a folder. So anytime they do like an open house, or somebody just moves in, they leave this out and they put a little bit of information in it for the people that are going to move in or people who are interested in living there. So you see like all the information about the place and some pictures up here. And then on the back, we got a little bit more information. That was one of my favorite projects. So I'll show you a bit more of that in a bit. But that's all I have for here. So you said you wanted to share something on your end, Allegra?
No, I saw that there was a screen at the bottom, so I didn't know if you wanted me to pull that up, but you shared the
Oh, I'm
cards already,
sorry. That
and
was it.
then you
I didn't realize that was what you were talking about. Sorry, I didn't know.
okay.
I'm new to StreamYard, so I didn't realize that.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen,
We
well, listen, it
probably
got
it was
done.
probably better to show the
So
other one.
I
I
so
think
and
it would have. Sorry about that.
no, I agree. So listen, and there's a little delay, so I apologize if I came off late, but I will say this. is, and thank you for showing us Dr. Jackie's cards. I love that linen type feel that you're talking about, and that shiny foil that's on Secret Miracles, Miss Ernest. I'm just really impressed, and I think Alex said it really well. He said it's amazing how versatile your work is. That folder got me though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, wait a minute. I was just actually thinking, like, how vast is this product line, right? Because here's the thing, and I think maybe you run into this, sometimes where people are like, oh yeah, I wish somebody would do this for me. And you're like, I do that. Or, and I wonder if, you have, how far you have expanded your product line to, because we have so many business owners that need so many things. And when you said luxury, I said, yep, that sounds like the clientele, because everybody's not going to be able to afford your type of work. And that's just the truth, right? And I don't sugarcoat anything, especially in business as a business coach, because it's what I see. And sometimes, identifying where our audience is and saying, like, they want luxury, they want the cream of the crop, they want it to look that this is what they're about. Gets you to define, who that target audience is. So I know you're really deciding, who you really ideally love to work with. So let me ask you this last question before we plug some things in. Who is your ideal candidate to work with? You had one person, one business that you're like, man, I would love to work with that person right now. Do you have someone like that?
So this may sound crazy to some of you, but I'm okay with it. So my ideal client is actually a psychic medium, but a really good one. Like like one whose gifts are so on point. People are begging to see this medium, whether they're a psychic medium or psychic reader. I've always wanted to do graphic design for a psychic reader. I just love spirituality. I love connecting with spirits. I'm fascinated by near-death experiences. And that's another company I would love to work with, a near-death experience type of organization. But ideally, something to do with that. I mean, if I have to actually choose one thing, possibly it would either be somewhere between a psychic medium or a reader, or a or organizations that talk about people's experiences with near-death experiences. I find them so fascinating. I've seen so many videos of people's experiences, and it really blows me away. And I'm like, wow, it would be wonderful to do graphic design for something like this. So those are my top two.
That's actually pretty interesting. We never know what true desires are within us until we tell, right? I'm sure people are like, I never would have thought that, because you just don't know. Near-death experience, girl, please. I'll be passing out no. So I think to what you're saying with regards to your desires, your beliefs, your dreams, thank you for sharing that, because when we do these interviews, I always like to pull out who people really are. A lot of times we're actually conforming to societal norms, right? We're just like, oh, well, I don't know if they want me to say that. I don't know if I'm looked at a certain way. I tell my mom this all the time, because I'm the one in my family, y'all. I'm the one that goes against the grain, that tells everybody where they should go and what they should be, right?
That's me too.
And it's because, when you listen to yourself, most of the time it's telling you it never gets old. But it's telling you that you listen to yourself, right? Listen to yourself, listen to what yourself is saying, and then other people will have to listen to themselves. But when you're in agreement and alignment with other people that listen to themselves, it's like, oh, okay, you like that too, I like that too, okay, good. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even though there may be, I don't know any people in our WIN community that I can think of off the top of my head that can be like, oh yeah, Courtney needs to connect with you. But I will say this, if you are in the community and that's what you do, then right then and there, this will be, if you're going to have somebody work on your project and be passionate about it. The reason why I asked you that, Courtney, was because if I was, in one of those fields and I heard you say that, I'll be like, oh, I'm hiring Courtney. Because I know that you're gonna feel really, really good working on the project, and I'm not gonna have any hiccups because you'll probably work on it more than I would want you to, right? Like you'll be like, oh no, this is passionate. I gotta make sure this is right and that's right. So I think that it's really important. It's really important for us to really align with our dreams, our goals, our desires. And so, Courtney, I really think that this interview really highlighted that for me about you. Really getting to know more about you. Thank you so much for representing the W.I.N and all of your amazingness. Because even in your spaces where you were shy and timid and not really getting out there, you still were betting on yourself with W.I.N. And I think that speaks volumes about, how you believe in yourself. So that's really where I wanted to end it and see if you have any advice for us, as well as how we can connect with you so that we can use your services for our business success.
Oh, sure. Are we still showing my website, or are we out of time? I wasn't going to show all of it, just like maybe a couple of things.
You can still show whatever you want to show. I'm just toning down the live so that people know, because we're over the hour. I just want to make sure that they know that we're tuning down the live.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know we started
late. And then
late
just
too.
Share your screen. Is this the one you want me to share? The one down
here? Can you see the?
No, it's
not
okay.
that one, but you're welcome to look at that again because I know it looks good. You're welcome to watch that again. But no, I had another one coming up on the bottom. Okay, here we go. Here's my website. So let me go back to the top. So this is CourtneyAverett.com. And then you basically scroll down. Hide this. Okay, you're going to scroll down. And then you'll see some examples of my work here. All that. I'll just do like a whole showcase really quick and then go back to the top. I also draw too. That's another one of my drawings. And then, so you see I've done t-shirts, I've done clocks, I've done banners. You'll see a bit more. Oh, that cup there is one that I was trying to show you earlier, but that would be cool to do like a W.I.N mug for our annual. So let me go back to the top here. So another favorite of mine that I did recently
bougier, was though, please.
Bougie. Oh boy. Another favorite of mine I've done recently is for Vanessa Jasper's flyer design. She is a yoga practitioner and an energy healer. Don't know if I said that phrase right, but she's all about the mind, body, soul. That's one of my favorite industries to work with, whether it's related to spirituality or yoga or wellness and anything that raises your frequency. I love all that stuff. So I love the name of this. I love the script. If I were to show you what it looked like before I did this, but when I started this, all you just saw was this picture and it was just like this part. I actually extended everything else and I added all the text. So that's another favorite that I've done. And it does have a feeling of luxury. Like I was saying, I love going in that direction. I know, Lager, you said you love them folders that I do. So let me show you another folder that I did. This one is actually for the George. And that's another luxury apartment and in New Brunswick. And so you can see here, you got some nice photos and you can actually see, I actually designed it just so that when it opens, the picture still continues at the flap of the folder. And it was like that with the other one too. So I got that eye for detail. So like I said, you can trust me. You're in good hands when you're working with me. So that's another one that I did right there. And oh, my affirmation cards. I forgot to tell you guys about that. I have a deck of affirmation cards. I actually have several. If anyone's looking to buy any, they're about $22 each. And it has 33 in each deck, 33 cards in each deck, because it's angel number 33. Look that up and see what that means. It's something great. So I'm all about raising your frequency and raising and learning how to be more present and to just appreciate the juiciness of life. And one of the best ways to do that is to have some affirmations up. whether you want that for yourself or you want to give it as a gift to someone, or it's nice to have some reminders for yourself. So just to speak some more positivity into your life. So and you can find out the info about getting that if you scroll down more. Here's more with the Secret Miracles cards from that I did for Miss Niece. And there's a bit of a still here, so you can see more of what that looks like, and then you can actually read about what her company is about. It's a nonprofit organization that supports underrepresented students with early career development, planning, mentoring, and to help them achieve their goals. So check out Secret Miracles if you know someone who can benefit from them. Check them out. Let me see if there's anything else here that I definitely want everyone to see. I want to wrap it up. So I think I've shown you all of this before. So another favorite of mine that I've done, we all know about 9/11 that happened back in 2001. This is a 9/11 poster design that I did. And this is one of those designs that I just did for leisure, and I was just doing it just for the sake of practicing art, and that's what I came up with. That's what happens when you're really working those creative juices and you just let something come out, and it just ended up flowing so beautifully. And I just love the way this came out, and actually it comes in different colors. So, and then you got the red one. So, and that was a really big deal to me when that happened. I mean, it was a big deal for all of us, but I figured I wanted to make something to reflect that. Oh, let's not forget the shampoo bottles. So I know I showed you them physically, but it might have been a little bit difficult to see on the camera. So these are the label designs that I did for the Ujana hair products. I also did a hair mask, so you see it in a jar here. And they also have even much larger shampoo bottles. And these are some of the concepts that I've made until we came up with the right one. So, sometimes it takes several attempts until you get to the right one. So your girl's working hard back here. So yeah, this is some of the designs that I did for the shampoo bottles. And you can read more information there if you'd like. I also have some testimonials on the page if you want to read the testimonials. And if you scroll up, you can find more testimonials at the top. And I believe I believe that wraps it up. I feel like I want to show this. So this is more of the RT. Yeah, I really should show this. I forgot what was in here. So aside from like the more business print production type of work that I do, I also do more fun type of art. So that's found in my Society 6 store. I'm in the process of moving things over. So, but these are some things that I've done that you can like wear or put in your home. So those are a few examples there. I did the elephant. Some of you know about my big elephant that I have. And no, I don't actually have a big elephant. I mean, I'm talking about the elephant design. I realize how that came out. So that wraps it up here. Thank you all so much for checking this out. And you can always I'll put the link to my website once we get off. So how do I close this? I think you have control over that. So yeah, once when you all get the chance, I would love for you to take a look at my site and also my social media platforms, like and some support would mean a great deal to me, because it's a lot of work to do this, and it's my passion, and support means a lot. It really does. I mean, when people take the time to really comment my work and share my work, even like my posts, it really does mean a lot, because nobody has to do anything. I mean, like nobody's entitled, or is entitled the right word? Obligated. I don't know why I said entitled. Nobody's obligated to. I mean, you're all entitled to like my stuff, but nobody's obligated to engage with me, or anything that I do. So when people take the time to really um, to really support me, it really is a big deal. So if you know anybody who needs any graphic design, if you know anybody who would like to be in a supportive women's business community, I'm a great person to connect with. I can hook you up. I also have a lot of business cards and a lot of referrals. If you're looking for something else, like an IT person or a web designer, I don't do web design yet, but I know some web designers. Well, I did make my own website, but web design's coming later. It's coming later. So, but uh, if you need someone who can do some marketing for you, I know someone who's great with that. Maybe Allegra or Sarah. So, I'm a great person to be in touch, just to know if you need connections to someone. I know a lot of people. So, yeah, that wraps up what I'm saying here. I'm going to give it back to you, Miss Queen Allegra. I'm so glad you made it, Mike.
Michael made it. He said incredible designs. So, all right, we do have to get off of this live because, this is such a well endowed hour to make sure that you all have as much information about Courtney as we can possibly get at this point. I'm sure there's so many layers we can dig, right? So we can have more interviews later. But just from what we have heard, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on and just giving us this time because as much as a community as we are, just like you said, no one's obligated. You had to come to the forefront and agree that, this was the right time to really present this to our audience and to share and, to just open up the doors, right? Because people need access to you. They need you, girl. They need you so much. And I think that when we have, these conversations, it actually allows people to feel more comfortable reaching out, asking questions, and even if there's something that you said in the personal side of this conversation that maybe they aligned with some of your goals, and maybe they aligned with some of your sentiments, and I think that speaks volumes about the like no trust factor. So if y'all pulled up today, if you are on the replay, I would just encourage you to connect with Courtney. Also, if you are in our community as a member and you have not connected with Courtney, like Miss Ernice, our corporate partner, did, and many others, I would love for you to reach out because Courtney is a vetted resource here, and I just love the fact that we're able to do this in community. Because even when things go awry, like I don't know if you ever had this happen where maybe there was something happened on the business side, and now things are going awry. What community does is community as it allows you to be safe in those spaces no matter what happens, because as we know each other as people, right, we actually are building relationships, and we're able to kind of say, hey girl, like I've told some people, your website is off. So I think, to your point, Courtney, as you grow, keep showing up boldly as you are. Any last advice that you have for us that you would like to leave before we just log off? Just want to give room and space for that if there's anything that comes up for you.
Remember to smile, and every day is a fresh start. If something's bothering you from the previous day, take the time to just roll it off your shoulders. However, my friend Lisa always says, she says it in such a funny way, but you got to just let it roll off your shoulders and start fresh and make peace with whatever was bothering you before, because you want to have all that room for really good quality things in your mind. You don't want to be focusing on the things that are bringing you down. Focus on what makes you happy. So that's my last advice. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor, especially on Juneteenth. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. It was such a pleasure to do this with you all.
Thank you guys. Have an amazing, amazing week, and we will see you back here